We are recording now.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you everyone for joining us here today for this plenary program in our intensive school. So the theme for today is legal research and its connection to practice. I'm Professor Mark Nolan and I'm the Director of the Centre for Law and Justice at Charles Sturt, and I'm zooming in from Ngunnawal and Ngambri lands in Canberra. I pay my respects to traditional owners of these lands and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders and other First Nations peoples with us here today. But importantly, in particular, I again thank our Bathurst-based Wiradjuri elders in residence. So for those who have not met our elders in residence before, we have Wirrabee Auntie Leanna Carr-Smith, we have waving there, and we have Dinawan Jirabung Uncle Bill Allen, and we have Yanandarrabul Uncle Jade Flynn with us here today. So thank you very much, Mandanguru, for being with us here today. I'm going to hand over to them now. They can do a further welcome acknowledgement, start our day for us. And if they could remind us about cultural safety as one important part of what they'll do. They've also got a session later on in the program today, so they'll invite you to the Yalbalinya cultural support session and give any reflections on the theme that they want to today as well. So over to our elders in residence.
Go on, Uncle. So g'day everyone, my name is Yanandarrabul. Thank you, Mark. And g'day and thank you to the rest of the crew from the Centre for Law and Justice. Nice to meet you, everyone. And I think we met a few of you yesterday. And also Judge Musgrave, very nice to meet you as well. So yeah, look, we're local elders here in the Bathurst area. We're custodians and we're responsible for country. We speak for country, and you know, we take our responsibility pretty seriously. So even though we're in Bathurst and you guys are sort of everywhere else, we still want to welcome you to this space today, and we still want to make sure that you understand that, you know, your cultural safety is important. As is our cultural safety. So we're just going to do a quick little welcome for you this morning and have a yarn about what cultural safety means. I'll just do the cultural safety bit now, and then I'll ask Uncle and Auntie to do a welcome in language for you. And I'll just tell you a little bit about kind of who we are as well. So I'll just be one little moment here. It's actually gorgeous here in Bathurst as well. It's just absolutely amazing today. So I hope it's a nice day wherever you are as well. So this is a little bit about who we are. And anyone that was in the session with us yesterday probably already knows this. But us Wiradjuri mob, we're the people of the Three Rivers, the Wambul, the Galari and the Murrumbidgee. And we speak for country. We've had you know, knowledge that's been passed down in the oral tradition of country, of the places in country, and we'd love for you guys to visit Bathurst and be able to visit some of our special places as well. So keep that in mind. That's an open invitation. If you do come to Bathurst, we'd love to, you know, point out some of the really special places to go. And as custodians, it's our responsibility to keep you safe while you're on country with us as well. And we see this online environment as not really much different. So we want to keep you safe while you're with us in the online environment as well. So our definition of cultural safety, you can see there, which is an environment which is spiritually, socially, emotionally and physically safe for everyone, where there's no assault, challenge or denial of your identity. It's about shared respect, shared meaning, knowledge, experience of learning together with dignity and truly listening. We'd also like to point out that there's an expectation, not only while you're with us, but with the other presenters today of Yinyamarra. And Yinyamarra is one of the most important aspects of Wiradjuri life. Yinyamarra Buye, or Yinyamarra law, L-O-R-E, is the way that we live. It's the way that we exist in the world. Yinyamarra has the 5 meanings, and they're each as important as the other. So the 5 meanings of Yinyamarra, for those that aren't aware, are respect, to be gentle, to be polite, to do slowly, and to have honor. And while you're on Wiradjuri country, if you follow those 5 parts of Yinyamarra, you cannot break Wiradjuri law. So that's enough from me, and I'll pass over to Uncle and Auntie. So Uncle Bill and Auntie Leanna. You're on mute there, Uncle.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yura Damara, and Gombianagu, Yunadi Dinawan Jerabangdu Murai Wiradjuri, Wombil Billa. G'day and welcome. My name's Dinawan Jerabang from the Murai clan of the Wiradjuri on the Wombil Billa, which is the Macquarie River. So thanks for joining. Thanks for having us join us today, and looking forward to listening to some of the discussion that goes on, and looking forward to then later on this afternoon for you to join us for a bit of a conversation then with what we want to talk about. Thank you. Managu.
Nuring Marang Biambu Gawambana Biambu. I said good morning all, and welcome all to today's session. So day 2, like Yana said, it's pretty nice here in Wiradjuri country today. Probably too nice to be sitting inside, but we can all have a break and go out. We come to you today from, like beautiful Wiradjuri country, and, we are the custodians and knowledge holders for this part of country. And like Yana said, cultural safety extends into our sessions too. So we'd like you to join us this afternoon. And, if you have any of those tricky questions that you want to ask, you could bring it up in this afternoon session. But we're looking forward to today's session. Special welcome to Judge Musgrave and anyone else who's joined us today that wasn't in the session yesterday. Let's start our day, everybody.
Auntie, I wonder whether you'd like to spend some time telling us a little bit more about Yalbalinya as a concept and a Wiradjuri word that is the name that we're using for the session this afternoon. Everyone's invited to bring any questions. Free-flowing session from 12:30 to 2 o'clock this afternoon. Stay on the same link that we're on this morning to participate in that session. Would you like to explain that concept a little?
Yep. So in Wiradjuri, Yalbalinya is it's a word that we use for learn. So it's like to learn and to. So in this session, we actually inserted this as an opportunity for people like yourself to ask questions in a culturally safe space that you wouldn't necessarily ask outside of, these perimeters that we sit in. We've been doing this for a long time, and for myself, I've actually am one of the key developers and designers for the way that this program's been implemented into or redesigned into Law and Justice. One thing that we found from feedback was that a lot of the participants wanted to ask more questions around First Nations law and justice. And so that's why we created Yalbalinya session. So that session's open to everybody. We encourage you to come along. And, like we said, we're not sick of talking about the voice, but that's the kind of forum that you can come into, and then we can have a discussion about that as a collective. We always make it clear to everybody, we don't know everything. We are knowledge holders, and we have the right to speak for country, but we don't speak for everybody, we just speak for ourselves. So that's an opportunity for you to come in, ask any question you like. How, you know, like Yana said yesterday, and we sort of say in our other sessions, you can sort of Google us and our corporation and the work we do in community, especially around protecting country. So those are the sort of questions, you know, you could ask us. But yep, that's
Thanks,
probably
Auntie.
all.
We have 4 or so minutes before we start our next session with Judge Musgrave. So just an open invitation to any of our elders and residents, if there's any other reflections you want to have in that time about our theme, legal research and its importance and connection to practice, feel free to make any final comments, and thank you again for starting our day.
Yep, I might jump in first, Yana.
Yeah, go.
Yana is our good talker. But what I wanted to talk about was probably for us, this is the 199 years since martial law has been declared on the Wiradjuri. Next year is the 200-year commemoration for us, where we as a community, and especially as Wiradjuri and a lot of our mob around town here who are non-Wiradjuri, we're putting together like a program for next year to honor our ancestors and also our warriors, that our fallen warriors that protected country, you know, in that homeland war. Uncle Dinawan there is a direct descendant from our head warrior, Windradine. Yana and myself are connected to the other tribes that were here in country. And I think that for you, if you're not aware of martial law and the declaration, for us, we encourage you to learn more about that, and also the legislation that was implemented back in the day. And Yana can talk a little bit more about that. We've been working really closely with one of our friends. I've got it on the table, and I'm not pitching his book, but I will do a pitch, because I've got to was Dr. Stephen Gapps. There he is. I don't know if you can see that. It's probably blurry because of the camera. But for us, I suppose, from a law perspective, we don't know all the law that was wrapped around it, but we are learning more and more about it the more that we dive deeper down the rabbit hole. So that's one thing that we like to make everybody aware of. And you as Australians should be aware of the legislation and the ramifications it had, just not for Wiradjuri people, but for all First Nations people in this country. And Yana, do you want to just touch on the legislation?
No, I just want to mention the importance of, and don't underestimate the impact of, that old fella that we always bring up, pro bono. So just keep that in your minds as well. A lot of mob don't have access to funds and resources, and pro bono is a good friend and an ally in a lot of instances. So yeah, just wanted to chuck that out there. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd just like to say too, with that commemoration we got doing next year, it has a lot of national significance to the whole thing, because it all dates back to when the first New South Wales Parliament was first formed, and one of their pieces of legislation that they put through, also the formation of the New South Wales Mounted Police and their role in what took place out here in Bathurst in 1824. So there's a lot of things that we're coming across that we never knew about before, as we dig deeper and deeper into some of the documentation of that period of time and how it was perceived and viewed by people in the colony at that time, you know, it was called a what do you call it?
Exterminating war.
No, the term that they put it on, martial law. They put it under the term of martial law, but in reality, the thing that what they were doing and was recorded in documents at the time, and the Sydney Gazette that was published at the time, that they called what was going on out in this area as a war of extermination. So, and they mentioned the word war a number of times through a lot of things. So it blows out that theory and everything else that says that Australia was peacefully taken by the colonists. Well, you know, the truth is that never was, and so it's a big thing for us to do this next year, but also we want to bring people along with us to learn too, so that we learn the true history of what had happened here in this area and how it affected the rest of the colony as they moved further west from here.
Thanks, Uncle. Thanks to all of our elders in residence for that opening. And I have put a link and the title of Dr. Stephen Gaps's book there. You can see how the social, the legal, historical research there, very important for understanding that history. So with that opening, thank you very much to our elders in residence. I'm going to hand over to you, Lisa. Maybe we hit stop on the record and then start on the record just to break up